So here we are at Stinsford Church for our first video on famous people buried in Dorset. They're not all born in Dorset. Some of them are just happen to be buried in Dorset. And so we've chosen Thomas Hardy first because for our first video because, well, when you think of Dorset, you think of Thomas Hardy. I mean, you don't think of anybody else first, I wouldn't have thought. And I've brought my sister Jean because she is a huge fan of Thomas Hardy. We're just waiting for children. Children have turned up. I say children, they're like teenagers, sixth formers, I think. Turned up in a van from a school to have a look around. No doubt they're doing Hardy in English Lit at school. So we're just waiting for them to go, and then we're going to go and have a look around the church. So here we are, we're coming up to Emily Gifford's grave, which is Thomas Hardy's first wife. And Thomas Hardy's heart is buried in the grave with her. He was cremated and his ashes buried in Poets' Corner at Westminster Abbey. And there's a story about the surgeon when he was removing the heart. He was called away and his cat got at the heart and had a nibble at it. The cat sadly later died. So it's a grim story, but apparently true. But yeah, not nice. So yeah, his second wife is also buried here, and Florence. I say buried. She was also cremated, and her ashes are buried nearby. And also a lot of Thomas Hardy's ancestors and relatives, because where he was born at Higher Bockhampton, there is no church, so this was the nearest one. You can visit Hardy's birthplace. It's pretty nearby at Higher Bockhampton. And you can also visit the place where he lived with both his wives and where all three of them died, and Max Gate near Dorchester, which is also quite close. So heading up to the church, and all these graves on the left here are of Thomas Hardy's ancestors and relatives, and at the end is Cecil Day-Lewis, who was Poet Laureate, and he wanted to be buried here just because he was a great admirer of Thomas Hardy and wanted to be buried where he was buried, or where his heart is buried. And behind is Jill, his wife, and they are the parents of Daniel Day-Lewis, the actor. Stinsford seems a small church to have two such eminent writers buried here. Okay, so we're in the church and it's pretty dark, so it might not come out very well. But it's a very nice little church. And there's a commemorative window to Thomas Hardy here. And a plaque on the floor. Just got his birth and date on. Birth and death date, I should have said. It's a very old church here, this one. As most in Dorset are old, aren't they, Jean? Old churches. Yes. Most of them are old, aren't they? What's this, 12th century, I suppose? Is that very old? First vicar of this church was 1300 and something?
Yes.
So we're leaving the church now. I'm learning to use a new camera, so the next video will be better, I promise. The sound is pretty awful in this one. But please give the video a like and consider subscribing if you enjoyed it. I'm Tricia, Sisters Jean, and we will see you next time, when there'll be someone else, someone famous or infamous or just plain interesting. So we'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.